How's everyone doing?
Good.
All right, this is my persuasive speech about how we need public education and funding for our public education. My name is Kenneth Anderson. I'm a husband, son, brother, mentor, and coach. Every step of my journey has led me to one calling, and that's being an educator. Being an educator isn't just about working a 9 to 5. It's in every fiber of my being. Coming from a big family, I've always been surrounded by many children. I have many nieces and many nephews, and they are a huge part of my life. Watching them grow and learn made me more aware how much education shapes their future and how it's important and why they should have the funding that they need to be successful. Imagine this. A child walks in their classroom, excited to learn, but the desk they sit at wobbles with every movement. The textbook in front of them is so outdated that George Bush Sr. is still listed as their current president. Their teacher, who has poured years of heart and dedication, quietly carries a burden of working 2 and 3 extra jobs just to make ends meet. And now that teacher is faced with the painful decision, can they even afford to stay in the profession that they love? This isn't some imaginary problem. This is happening right here in North Carolina. When schools don't have the resources they need, it doesn't just affect the students of today. It shapes our opportunities of tomorrow. It determines whether our children are prepared to compete for jobs, to innovate, to lead, and to contribute to the world around them. North Carolina ranks near at the bottom of the nation when it comes to valuing teachers. According to CNN Wire 2023, the average teacher salary in our state is $54,000, while the starting salary is $37,000. Barely enough to cover rent and groceries. As a result, many teachers are leaving the profession altogether. And when they do, our children are left with no mentors or role models or the stability that they need. In Winston-Salem Forsyth County school system, where I'm employed, a deficit has already forced painful staff cuts. I watched a colleague of mine who poured her heart out into teaching exceptional children open her email one morning and found out that her job was eliminated. She left behind students who depended on her, children who suddenly lost a trusted adult and teacher. Now I want you to picture this through the eyes of that student. Imagine being that student with special needs, and the teacher who advocates for you every day is suddenly gone because the budget doesn't allow it. These cuts are not just numbers on a spreadsheet. They are broken promises to our children, our families, and to our community. This is why I stand before you today. North Carolina must stop making budget cuts to public education because underfunded schools lead to teacher shortages, lower educational quality, and adds to the inequities for student and low-income communities. My first main point, teacher shortages are tied to low pay. The truth is simple. When we fail to pay teachers what they deserve, fewer people pursue teaching as a career. Even with the proposed 18% raise, the National Education Association warns this still won't solve the long-term retention issues. Schools are major employers in our state, and when educators leave, their entire economy feels a ripple effect. Education thrives on stability, and right now, stability is what our children don't have. Now that we understand how low pay pushes teachers away, let's talk about my second main point and how budget cuts directly harm students left behind. My second main point, budget cuts directly harm our students. As I stated before, I've seen the reality of the budget shortfalls firsthand. As North Carolina Newsline reports in 2025, a $46 million deficit forced the district to eliminate positions. These cuts just don't reduce numbers, they rip away relationships. Every teacher is a child losing a mentor, a guide, a lifeline. Imagine being that child in 3rd grade, suddenly doesn't know who their teacher is going to be tomorrow. Cuts destroy morale for both staff, students, and they also send a message that education is expendable, and that's just not acceptable. We've discussed how underpaying teachers and cutting budgets weaken schools, but the heaviest burden falls on one group in particular, and that's my third and main and last point, the children, especially children in low-income communities. Research from the North Carolina Early Childhood Foundation tells us that literacy gaps for students in poverty are widening, and the child's 3rd grade reading level strongly predicts their lifelong outcomes. Think about that. If a child can't read by the 3rd grade, they are more likely to struggle for the rest of their lives. Students in low-income areas often attend Title I schools where resources are already scarce and many stay in food deserts. When those schools lose funding, the cycle of poverty is reinforced. Education should be a ladder out of poverty, but when we cut that ladder down, we leave our kids stuck. We leave them stranded. Today, I've shown you 3 reasons why we must stop the budget cuts. First, low teacher pay creates shortages. Second, cuts directly harm students and staff. Third, cuts directly harm inequity in low-income communities. Now here's where you come and play a part. Speak up. Speak up at your school board meetings, or call or email your lawmakers. Support your teachers so they can stay in the classroom where they belong. And most importantly, don't stay silent, because silence only allows these cuts to continue. Think about that special child in your life. Every time we cut into public education or public funding, we cut into their dreams and their future. But every time we advocate and invest, we plant a seed of hope that will outlive us all. Thank you.